because we're blessed. How about that? We are already blessed. Allow this blessedness to influence us. We have been invited to haul all of our burdens of life's hardships with the divine yoke of discipleship, of which every effort of ours is guided, directed, instructed, and supported by Jesus, who is our yoke mate. What do you think? That Jesus just said that to hear himself talk? You know? And do we know anything about a yoke? Do we know anything about a yoke at all? You know? Yokes were wood. You go to the carpenter, right? And he looks at the ox that you brought in, you know, and he sizes it up, or the team, I should say, and he sizes both up, and he hones out what is good, and he tries it on them and says, you work with them and then come back in 2 weeks. Because in 2 weeks, he would see where it's chafing the ox. Okay, he would see that, and then cut it. In other words, when the last time for the yoke to be given to the farmer, there was no harm on the beast. You wouldn't want that because the beast is earning your livelihood. Okay? So a yoke was something to guide, direct, support the animal. It would never cause you harm. It was for your guidance, direction, and support. A yoke was always positive. But through the centuries, what did it become? It became a horrendous symbol of oppression. So Jesus, knowing that, wants to redirect it. So he turns the world upside down where he's at and says, I want to be your yoke mate. You know, so watch me. You know, I suppose in modern time we could say, allow me to say this, your partner in the tango. Because it's such a passionate, you know, story being told in the dance. Jesus is your dance partner in the tango, or the fandango, whatever one of those are. You know, and so you need that. You need it to accomplish it right. You need a partner. But if you follow the partner, it's like what? It's like a hot knife going through butter. Shoot, no effort. You know, so Jesus gives us that. You know, he gives us this. We have been invited to haul all of our burdens of life's hardships with the divine yoke of discipleship, of which every effort of ours is guided, directed, instructed, and supported by Jesus, who is our yoke mate. Thus, we experience a certain easiness and lightness to the load that life burdens us with. And so we are able to love our neighbor, others, as Jesus has loved us, and be willing to show mercy and compassion to all. Now, the love that we're talking about here, love of enemy, love of neighbor, who can do that? Who in their right mind can do that? Nobody. Okay, it's not just a human endeavor. It's divine endeavor. But we have to understand what that love is. That love isn't this. It's not that. It's not that. It's the love comes under the umbrella of care and concern for another's welfare. Care and concern, because you can punch me between the eyes and I can say, I wish you didn't do that. Why don't you fly straight up and fly right, you know? And that right there is kind of a prayer because it really is directed to your welfare. I was hoping that you'd change so you wouldn't hit me again, or whatever. Or when something horrific happens, and our anger will say the right thing, which is, I wish they didn't do that, and why can't they get a life? You know, what we're saying is really addressing that particular person's welfare. That is the love that we're talking about when we're saying, or when Luke or John is saying, love your neighbor. Because if we don't have that understanding of love and think it's another understanding of love, we're going to go crazy. Take everybody we know crazy with us. Can we say that we are now determined to be obedient, faithful, and loving to God and to others, and try not to be self-involved to the exclusion of others so that we may be more aware of God's invitation to us and do what God desires of us, ridding ourselves of our selfish self-centeredness? Christ, Carmel, and creation combine as a school of sanctification to present to us many and diverse opportunities to practice what we profess, that is, to be detached from the self that wants to rule in God's place. And one of the things here, I think, allow me to use this example here. One of the things was rash judgment or judgment. I didn't get my license until I was 40, so I had a lot of people through my life pick me up, right? And so you're waiting, and you're waiting, and here I should be saying, generosity to this person, right? No, I'm saying, I'm kept waiting, I'm waiting, you know, and all this and that, and then think this is what happened to me. And then I'm saying, well, I hope they're all right. You know, that nothing happened to them, you know, on the way. And then that went from there, it went to, Ralph, you don't know everything of what's going on. Who does? God does. Yes, the right answer. You know, and so I was playing God. Really? I was playing God. I was making a judgment on somebody who I didn't know I don't know everything. I didn't know everything about the person, about circumstances, about life. And once I said, I don't know, then I stopped being judgmental and making judgments. Because only God can do that, who is a judge. So that helped me out. So why am I saying that? That detaches us, to be detached from the self that wants to rule in God's place. When we realize such things that we're making, we've scooted God over and we place ourselves in God's throne, if we realize that, we won't do it anymore. But we have to come to that realization, because then we are ashamed, and you know, I'm shamefaced because I've placed myself, I made myself to God. Okay, and if we can do that, that can help us work us through things, and we won't be, we can detach ourselves from some different things. The saints teach us that any action of ours which is animated by and performed in love is precious in God's sight. We can thus be joyful knowing that an insignificant act of detachment is quite significant to God. Therefore, it would be wise on our part and to our advantage if we offer God any and all our deeds of detachment. For this would be a method of frustrating the desires and machinations of our self-indulgences, and also a means of constantly manifesting our need for and love of God. How do we do that? Let's start off with something that probably everybody can understand. Food. Well, especially dessert. Okay? Especially a smaller piece of dessert. You know? And if we can do that and can do it consistently, that's, I mean, who cares? You know, that's so trivial. Don't even worry about that. Yeah, but you can use that. You can use that what? As something very simple and very insignificant, as a means of developing self-discipline in detaching from things. Because it's just like going to school. Because if we can do the little things, okay, we can do the little things, then they can help us to be able to do things in a bigger sense, to the bigger things, and then to the bigger things. Don't think that it's insignificant. It's how we use that. It's how we use that. And we know about this. When they said the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, a straw. Come on. You know, you get a gazillion billion and put them on the camel's back. The next thing you hear is crunch, and that's the camel's breaking the back. But you see all these little things mount up. There's my case, okay? So practically speaking, without a truly thorough routing of selfish concerns, it would not be possible to sincerely love and totally give ourselves to our gracious God. For as soon as we turn to seek satisfaction of our self-centered selves, we turn away from striving for love. It is only in detaching ourselves from all other inauthentic loves that we are capable of encountering true love, that is, Jesus. Thus, by our persistent action of detachment, little or great, we not only give ourselves to God, we not only give witness to God of our love, but we also proclaim by the mastering of our selfishness that we are participators in the work of salvation, establishing the presence of the kingdom of God by our lives. And that's another thing, another little aside, doesn't relate to what we're